Warning, this video will discuss a number of disturbing topics relating to child endangerment. If you know of or suspect a child in danger, we encourage you to use resources like preventchildabuse.org and childwelfare.gov to help you navigate the situation. Please protect yourself and those around you. We probably don't have to tell you that the internet is a scary place. Beneath all of the candy-coated content, social media, and genuine human connection, there are places where insidiousness thrives. It manifests in the dark corners of the internet, where it multiplies and spreads, unhampered by the weight of widespread attention, at least until its time is up. We saw what happens when one of those dark corners is illuminated in September 2024, when the entire internet fell down the rabbit hole of SmartSchoolboy9, a person who has immersed themselves in a very disturbing fetish in one form or another for not just days, weeks, or months, but entire decades. And while SmartSchoolboy9 is the case of the moment, they're far from the only one that is engaged in this unsettling, dangerous realm, and they almost certainly won't be the last. In this video, we're going to dig into the horror of SmartSchoolboy9, find connections, and ultimately discover a shared heritage for these malevolent, perverse corners of the internet. Welcome back, you're watching Conspiracy Vibes, and this is the legacy of SmartSchoolboy9. Both Nexpo and Nick Crowley have excellent deep dives into the origins of SmartSchoolboy9 and the earliest parts of the investigation, but we'll give you a condensed rundown here for context.
It goes without saying that this person is nowhere near the age of a child, despite his efforts to appear that way. On nearly all of his captions, he talks about his life in school, his experiences with other boys, reportedly also aged 8, 9, and 10, and even appears to gain access to classrooms on multiple occasions. So far, this behavior is incredibly weird and repulsive. However, these videos aren't outright illegal. Because of this, and combined with the activity on truth sticks, some have passed this entire thing off as nothing but a massive LARP. Someone with far too much free time on their hands, and with very, very weird fixations.
Until they became straight up disturbed, even sickening. These bizarre edits spilled over past just the images too, as the posts began to appear as disjointed collages, often showcasing multiple grotesque images and paragraphs about how much this user loved school. And this wasn't the only shift either. At some point, the son behind the account began posting content that allegedly came directly from him, saying things like, "My really cool mom asked me if I'd like to post, and I said, yes please." He even shared supposed videos that he had filmed of himself.
Oh. School. Hi. Let me know if you like school as well.
On July 20th, 2024, a Reddit user posted a thread about disturbing Instagram accounts where adults were clearly trying to pass themselves off as children. One such account, truth_sticks_11, was slightly different from the others. It started out with the mother calling out suspected pedophile accounts and sharing information about the prevalence of offenders in the UK. Pretty ironic given how things have played out.
So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
Shortly after those posts, the pictures posted to the Truth Sticks account became more and more uncanny, featuring many heavily modified images of a young boy with pale skin, deep red lips, and varying facial proportions depending on the image. A handful of accounts that featured similarly edited pictures and writings were discovered in the days after that Reddit thread gained tractions, but all of the known ones have been pulled down since then. Before it was pulled, the Truth Sticks account looked like this. Among the other now deleted accounts were Stephanie Schooley, an account supposedly run by a 12-year-old girl, and the now infamous SmartSchoolboy9, the person discovered to be at the center of this conspiracy, a 59-year-old man named David. You've most likely seen David's nightmare-inducing character by now, clearly an adult wearing much too small school uniforms, heeled shoes, white makeup, and red lipstick while forcing his tongue out and making stomach-turning squelching sounds. It's truly awful, and the forced high-pitched voice really pulls the whole ensemble together. The visual connections between the smart schoolboy character and the edited images of the children from the various accounts are clear, which has brought many to some horrifying conclusions. Does he have some kind of asphyxiation fetish? Is he doing some kind of sick cosplay? However, the reality is much more terrifying than that. David isn't just dressing up as SmartSchoolboy9 for internet videos. Reports have surfaced that show he has been embodying this character in public since at least the 80s. He believes he is SmartSchoolboy9. This thread and others like it discuss first or secondhand accounts of people who have allegedly encountered David in real life. A face caked in white makeup, high-heeled boots, distinctly school uniform-like clothes accompanied by a lunchbox of some kind. It all checks out. If you're prepared to believe random posts from strangers on the internet after a situation is blown up, that is. You know, everyone wants their 15 seconds of fame. However, there is one source that would much more difficult to fake and might actually be the smoking gun for David's proclivities going back several decades. This archived Usenet post describes SmartSchoolboy9's getup in extreme detail and dates back to October 1999, long before Reddit, long before social media, and certainly long before content creators latched on to SmartSchoolboy9. So then it's very possible that David has more or less always been like this, and not just on the internet.
Okay. So. Okay. Hey, let me know if you like school as well. Message anytime. School up, innit?
We found this 2018 tweet that shares a physical letter sent to the Salmon Youth Center by Stephanie, a name used for one of David's accounts, and featuring a scrapbook-style version of the images he created for Instagram. Notice the exaggerated high-heeled boots, which seem to be a focus for the characters David has created. As of this video's creation, it's not clear whether or not David has hurt any children directly, and it's not clear if that was ever his goal. At least we weren't able to find any concrete evidence pointing to those things. It's possible that he's just a very disturbed individual dealing with childhood trauma in a very strange way, which would be very sad. However, the sexual undertones in much of his writings and images make his innocence seem very unlikely. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time something like this has happened on the internet, and previous events have culminated in nightmarish conclusions. The most similar case was one that has come to be known as Piper Gate. Also covered by Nick Crowley, Piper Gate refers to a YouTube channel started in December 2017 called Piper Rocks. The channel was supposedly run by a 10-year-old girl named Piper who wanted to share her budding video editing skills. The only issue was, the videos she would share were violent, scary, and unmistakably perverted. Obviously not something a 10-year-old girl would make, but definitely the kind of content that perverts and degenerates would seek out. It turns out there was a reason for that. After an extensive investigation handled by 4chan of all places, it was discovered that Piper was actually a man named William Glenn Whitaker, a registered S offender who had been arrested in the past for possessing what we're going to call illegal material. We'll let you connect the dots. Whitaker's escapades didn't stop there, though, because it was discovered around the same time that he also made up a fake talent agency to lure in families and record their children singing and dancing. Of course, Whitaker had no connections to any kind of talent-oriented industry. This was all done for his own personal gain. The most terrifying part about Piper Gate wasn't the content itself, or even the fact that a registered felon was behind it all. The part that haunts us, and everyone who falls down that particular rabbit hole, is what the actual purpose of the content might be. The comprehensive 4chan report speculated that the content was a funnel for the distribution of illegal material, an affront for a criminal child abuse ring. We won't dig into the process of how that distribution might have worked, but the investigation was able to verify many commenting accounts as being tied to actual offenders. If this ever turns out to be true, then these people were somehow able to operate in secret while also being right out in the open. A terrifying thought. William Glenn Whitaker continued to produce these videos all the way up to his death in 2021, But his passing didn't mark an end to this disturbing content. We were able to find this channel, which is still active as of the creation of this video in September 2024. The style of its content is strikingly similar. And it seemed to be attracting the same kind of viewers.
If I had a dictionary, I would read the customary compliments and phrases when I want to see new faces. But to hear in trouble, my adversity is doubled. To make the matters worse, I'm breathless. When I try to be poetic, you are never...
This brings us back to SmartSchoolboy9. While David has apparently always been more out in the open with his persona, and he hasn't been found guilty of anything up to this point, the way that he handled his online presence is undeniably similar to Whitaker's, and the sexual nature that their content shares casts them in the same category. And they definitely aren't alone. The Daily Capper, Joy Junction, Mr. Swirl, the internet is full of rabbit holes that end with the exploitation of children, the corruption of innocence, and some of the worst parts of humanity that were able to get away with evil for so long. This is the legacy of SmartSchoolboy9. It's one that he shares with many other online entities, past, present, and future, and hopefully one that won't just fade back into the darkness where it thrives. Hopefully people on the internet will continue to fight back, call them out, and stop these things from happening as much as possible. Until next time, take care of yourself and be the light that fights the darkness. See you in the next one.